Everyone's busy yelling about how fast food is $12 now. But here's the truth. Fast food is just the distraction. The real squeeze, it's happening in the grocery store aisle. And that pain is silent because nobody wants to admit their butter, coffee, and cereal just jumped in price again. Now, Frances Cook, she's a financial journalist in New Zealand, just pointed out why people feel like they're losing money even when official inflation numbers say things are under control. It's simple. The essentials, the stuff you literally can't skip, are the ones spiking hardest. Insurance, food staples, energy. Meanwhile, luxury categories are flat, and that drags the overall inflation number down. Translation, the statistics are lying to you. Your grocery bill isn't imaginary, it's actually worse than the headlines admit. And here in the US, same story, different flavor, Trump literally campaigned on lowering grocery prices, saying Americans would be able to afford groceries very soon. That was the promise, yet the election's come and gone, and grocery prices still creeping up. More than half of Americans now say food costs are a major source of stress. That's not me talking, that's AP's data. Think about it. People are more anxious about buying groceries than they are about most other bills. So when you hear politicians talking about beating inflation, or you see a chart showing a nice 2.7% number, remember, those aren't the prices that keep you alive. Food, energy, insurance, those are the categories that are quietly draining your paycheck, while the flashy campaign promises never show up at checkout. When people think about high food costs, they often point to fast food. It's easy to see the price of a combo meal go up and feel like that's the big problem. But in reality, the larger issue is happening much more quietly in grocery stores. That's where families are feeling the real financial pressure.
I'm supposed to be making a meal plan and a grocery list right now so I can go grocery shopping tomorrow, and I just don't want to. I'm kind of in a state of paralysis because I know how much it's going to cost. I don't know how much anybody else is spending on groceries, but our grocery bill is like $500 every 2 weeks. There are 5 people in our family. 2 of those are teenagers and one's a preteen. I do not buy pop and I do not buy pre-made anything. Everything's being made from scratch except for potato chips. That's our one thing. This does include toiletries and pet food. We also don't buy beef because we bought a whole cow. And I'm telling you this so I can justify it in my own mind. And I'm not buying name brand stuff either. I shop at Aldi and then Costco. Like, why is food so expensive? And I know everybody's going to say, oh, it's the tariffs. It's been this high since 2020. I really think at this point, the big food corporations and the distributors and the grocery stores like Walmart are doing this on purpose just to make more money. At first, they were blaming it on COVID, and now they're blaming it on tariffs. It's just them being greedy. And I'm sick of it. Am I the only one trying to spend less and not being successful at it at all?
Meal planning should help. On paper, it makes sense. You can estimate what your cart will cost before you ever walk up to the checkout line. But even with careful planning, the totals are staggering. In the example here, we're talking about $500 for just 2 weeks of groceries. That adds up to about $1,000 every single month just for food at home. For a family of 5, those numbers become almost unmanageable. Essentials like milk and meat are now so expensive that it feels like you need your own farm to keep up. Oh wait, they do have a cow. And the troubling part is that these are not luxury items. They're the basics people rely on every day. Families aren't choosing to overspend. They're simply trying to get by. This makes the debate over fast food prices look small by comparison. Spending $15 at a drive-thru is frustrating, but $1,000 at the grocery store is what's really draining household budgets. Families are being forced to normalize these higher bills even though the increases are clearly unsustainable. The bigger picture is that while headline inflation numbers might look stable, the categories that matter most, food, energy, and insurance, continue to climb. That disconnect explains why so many households feel financial stress even when official reports say inflation is under control. The grocery store is where people experience the sharpest pain, and it's a problem that no amount of planning can make disappear.
I cannot be the only one that hates going to the grocery store on days where you have to buy household supplies. I swear if this was just groceries, my bill would have been literally $80 cheaper. Because I needed more bags, I needed duster refills, and I buy them like Walmart brand, and I needed paper towels and toilet paper. Tell me why my bill was $160. I didn't even get that much food. Okay, I did buy this really good smelling candle. It smells really good. But other than that, I literally only have, take out the 2 boxes of mac and cheese in there. I have, this is it. How did this cost $160? How? I don't get it. I don't get it. So if y'all could be really kind and watch this video all the way through and do all the things like share, follow, repost, whatever the heck you call it on this app, and help me pay for these groceries, I'll go watch some of your videos, because I swear, like, groceries should not cost this much, especially when you're buying non-name brand things. I swear the only thing I bought, nope, that's not name brand. These are technically Walmart's brand. These are cheaper than the Walmart brand. Not name brand. Not name brand. Not name brand. Not name brand. They were out of the Walmart brand, so I had to buy this name brand. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
You're right. A lot of people see store brands like Walmart's Great Value as the hack to save money on groceries. On the surface, it does look like a win. The packaging is simple, the price tag is lower, and most of the time the product tastes almost identical to the name brand. For someone at checkout trying to cut costs, it feels like the obvious choice. But here's the reality. Walmart and other big retailers aren't losing money when you pick the cheaper option. They actually make strong margins on these private label goods. Because Walmart doesn't have to spend millions on advertising campaigns, celebrity endorsements, or flashy packaging, their costs are lower from the start. They go straight to manufacturers, often the same ones producing the name brand version, and simply put their own label on it. That means while you think you're saving money, Walmart is still profiting heavily. The lower price isn't about giving consumers a break, it's about locking you into their ecosystem and keeping you from shopping somewhere else. So yes, Great Value might beat the name brand at the register, but in the bigger picture, the system still squeezes you. Even the so-called cheaper choice feeds into rising grocery bills that families are struggling to manage.
So yeah, I'm back at my Publix, and of course, the eggs I want are $12.39 again. What the hell is going on? Is your Publix like this, or your grocery store?
What is Publix? A price gouging paradise? Because $12.39 for a dozen eggs is unreal. Some might say it's just eggs, but that's exactly the problem. Even the basics are being marked up like luxury items. Back in 2021, organic pasture-raised eggs averaged about $5.50 to $7 per dozen. Fast forward to today, and at $12.39, the price has nearly doubled. Using $6 as the midpoint, that's about a 106% increase in just a few years. So this isn't just normal inflation. Feed costs, transportation, and supply chain issues play a role, but stores like Publix are also capitalizing on higher consumer tolerance for inflated prices. Essentials like eggs, the cheapest protein staple for decades, are now being treated like premium goods. At the end of the day, paying $12.39 for eggs is less about supply shortages and more about how broken the grocery system feels.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off.
Families aren't buying luxury. They're just trying to eat breakfast. When people load up their carts with big name products like Capri Sun, Canada Dry, or OxyClean, they think it's just a normal shop. But what they don't see is how much money is being wasted. You're not saving £50 per person when you buy those brands. You're paying for the logo, the advertising, and the packaging. Two purchases in particular stand out as extremely costly: berries and bottled water. Take strawberries, for example. At Walmart, a 1-pound pack goes for about $2.72. At Sprouts, organic strawberries can run as high as $6.99 for the same size. Even the wholesale range puts them anywhere from about $1.74 to $5.25 per pound, depending on quality and region. That price jump isn't random. It makes sense because as climate change continues, producing local fruits and vegetables gets harder and more expensive. Supply is squeezed, costs rise, and the consumer ends up carrying the burden. Then there's bottled water. One of the comments wrote, "Why are people still buying bottled water? Water dispensers save you so much money." And they're right. Tap water costs around 2 cents per gallon, while bottled water averages 64 cents per gallon. A dispenser system costs a few $100s up front, but once it's in place, it filters water on demand for a fraction of the cost of bottled brands. It's cleaner, cheaper in the long run, and cuts down on plastic waste. The nuance is convenience. At home, a dispenser beats bottled water in almost every way. But when you're out on a jog, running errands, or anywhere it's inconvenient to carry a reusable bottle, bottled water still fills that gap. That's why both continue to exist side by side. At the end of the day, whether it's brand name sodas, overpriced strawberries, or bottled water, the theme is the same. Consumers keep paying more for less, and the system is designed to make sure you don't notice until you're staring at the receipt.
I just got home from the food store and I didn't have time to process how much money I spent. So let's break it down. I went to Target and I spent $137. Then I went to ShopRite and spent $551, totaling $688. We are a family of 3, me, my husband, and my almost 2-year-old. All the things that I got, most of it was like, household products, face wash, things like that. Things that were like buy 3 for whatever, like cheaper, blah, blah, blah. I also got other stuff too, fruits, vegetables, meat, bread, eggs, cheese, like stuff like that. Things that like we go through every single day. I come home, I show my husband everything I bought. He's like, whoa, this is very overwhelming. How much money did you spend? I tell him, and he was like, needless to say, he left, went for a bike ride so he can, just take his mind off how much money that I just spent at the food store. It's fucking tough out here, man.
For a family of 3, $688 on groceries is actually insane. How do you walk out of Target, spending $137 and then drop another $551 at ShopRite? Whether you live in New Jersey, New York, or anywhere else, it doesn't matter. The essentials to eat are pricing higher and higher. But that doesn't mean you should buy into it. No wonder your husband needed a bike ride after that total, because the truth is, there are plenty of stores where you can find those same name brand items for cheaper, especially when you buy in bulk. Costco, Aldi, and even regional warehouse stores give you a shot at stretching your dollar further. Still, let's be real. Grocery prices are outrageous across the board. In this economy, you need to strategize if you want to stay afloat. Here are 3 ways to do it. Shop smart with bulk essentials. Staples like rice, beans, pasta, and frozen vegetables can last weeks, and bulk buying keeps the cost per meal low. Cut back on brand loyalty. If you always reach for the big names, switch to private labels where it makes sense. Store brands are often made by the same manufacturers and sell for less. Plan meals and stick to the list. The easiest way to overspend is impulse buying. Plan your meals for the week, make a list, and stick to it. That's how you avoid the just-in-case extras that add up at checkout. So yes, food is getting expensive, but when you let every trip to the store turn into $600 plus receipts, the system wins. You've got to fight back with strategy, not just shock. See, the reality is people aren't really exposed to these types of foods anymore.
Groceries are so expensive right now, you don't need a pantry. You need a time machine back to the Great Depression. Listen, at this point, if you don't have what I call a Depression-era pantry, you are setting yourself up for failure. And I know some of y'all are like, what's that? I wasn't even alive back then. Don't worry, I got you. A Depression-era pantry is about survival with style. It's budget-friendly, non-perishable items that will ensure you never go hungry. Flour, cornmeal, rice, dried beans, oats, pasta, molasses, cocoa, peanut butter, canned fruits and vegetables, canned meat, lard, vinegar, salt, sugar, and spices. This is all the stuff your grandmama could take and make 20 meals out of it and continue to feed the family over and over again. See, most Americans, y'all got really addicted to living high on the hog, like little mini Rockefellers, right? Eating fresh salmon on a Wednesday night, sipping cold brew like water. Let's keep it all the way a buck. See, you were never rich. You just had enough credit cards and cheap prices so you could pretend. And now that runway is gone. So here's the irony for me. The same folks, right, that used to laugh at grandma's struggle meals are about to be Googling how to make biscuits from bacon grease and molasses. And honestly, it's not even shameful. For real, it's smart. Because the truth is, prices are not done climbing yet. We have not hit the peak. So either you build yourself a Depression-era pantry right now, or you're going to be out here paying $15 for a bag of rice like it's a luxury handbag. Because at the end of the day, y'all, survival is not about flexing. It's about preparing. And the most American thing you can do right now, learn how to make it work no matter what. That was just like they did back then.
Back in the Depression era, pantries were built on non-perishables. Beans, rice, flour, canned goods. Food wasn't glamorous, but it kept families alive. The focus was survival and stretching every dollar. Fast forward to now, and people are so used to eating like every day is a special occasion. Salmon for dinner, lattes in the morning, name brand snacks filling the cart. None of that is cheap, and it changes what we consider normal. Look at the numbers. Salmon fillets are going for about $9.99 to $11.49 per pound in stores, while wholesale averages hover around $10.25. Compare that to rice at about $1.07 per pound, or dried beans even lower. 1 pound of rice stretches across multiple meals, while 1 pound of salmon is gone in one dinner. The truth is, grocery inflation feels heavier when your baseline diet is built around high-end items. If you're drinking fresh coffee every morning or buying fish weekly, your bill is going to reflect that. Meanwhile, the humble staples that once carried families through harder times are still on shelves, often at a fraction of the cost. That doesn't mean people shouldn't enjoy good food, but it highlights how our expectations shifted. What used to be occasional luxuries have become everyday standards, and in an era of rising costs, that's what makes grocery bills feel unbearable. That's all I have for you today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, and as always, every dollar matters.